Good morning, everyone, and welcome into Wake and Take. It's your boy Jason, and we've got some football to talk about today. Today, we're gonna slow it down a little bit. We're still gonna be talking some of this training camp stuff, but I want to take a pause and talk about some of the bigger injuries that we're gonna be discussing, just to get a bigger insight in. So I've brought in Jonathan Lange from PlayerProfiler, a man of many hats, but does a lot of the injury content for us, writing articles. You've seen him guesting on the roundtable as well. So he's gonna come answer a lot of questions about some of these trending players that are picked up injuries. And then, of course, we've got the biggest story of yesterday, Justin Herbert, to break down as well. So go ahead, take out your coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Jonathan, welcome in. How you doing?
It's a great day to be great, right? Doing good, man. Doing good. How are you?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. I'm a little upset about the Justin Herbert injury. I'm not going to lie. I just talked about buying him on Trade Gods and Wake and Take within back-to-back days. So it's not been good. But I will say, before we even talk about it, I'm still going to be buying into Justin Herbert even with this injury. I want that guy on my roster. So I'll take any buying opportunity I can, but that doesn't matter. Well, we do need to know about the actual severity of the injury.
We'll get to the injury, but I mean, honestly, that's what trading in Dynasty is buying low, and this is a buying opportunity. So
exactly.
You had the OC worries. There's going to be run heavy offense. You have the foot. Yeah, this is it.
Like, if you've ever wanted Justin Herbert, this is this is the time. You've got all the uncertainty is right there. Right now, I can't imagine. I don't think there will ever be another buying opportunity, at least like this one. Like the stars have definitely aligned, if you want to, regardless of how severe this is, which it does seem rough. It does seem, to damper some things. But in Dynasty,
no, we can dive on into it if you'd like.
Let's do it.
So I'm just going to read the tweet.
Yeah.
And this is from the Chargers. It says, following the practice, Justin Herbert was diagnosed with an injury to the plantar fascia in his right foot. Doctors have recommended approximately 2 weeks in a boot, followed by a gradual, or it says graduated, but I would think it also would mean gradual return to play protocol. Mm-hmm. So, it might be one of those things where it's like, okay, you're out of the boot after 2 weeks. Let's do some light jogging. Or as I say in San Diego, yogging. Wait, they're in Los Angeles. Sorry. So, they're going to do some light work, and then you're going to see a slow ramp up. Now, the guys at the news desk pointed out that this same situation happened with Antonio Gates. I don't have the information in front of me right now. I thought I did, but it is gone. And that's the way life goes. But essentially, the Chargers have been through this situation before. It was Antonio Gates. They slowly brought him back. They brought him back too early, and he was out. It just didn't go well. So with this is all hypothetically speaking. Harbaugh is going to want to. I would err on the side of caution because he's got grace for his first year. He's got no reason to rush. I feel like he's going to miss, if I had to guess, maybe a week of week one. I would just say week one. Like, we're going to learn more as this goes, but I think they're going to err on the side of caution.
Yeah, I feel like they have to, and I feel like that's probably why they're putting the boot on the foot in the first place, is just to really limit this stuff at the peak of this injury being it just happened. Mm-hmm. What I've been reading is that a lot of athletes play through this injury, and I've been doing some Googling here to figure out why that might be the case. And I'm honestly just getting even more concerned because, the AI overview. So thank you, Google Artificial Intelligence. We'll see what this means. There's lots of debate out there. But supposedly it could take 3 to 12 months to improve. And then if you go to the AAFP, whatever that means, that's why I'm using the acronym, it says that 80% of patients with plantar fasciitis will improve within 12 months. So 80% within 12 months does not sound like a good rate. Yeah. But if you read from the Mayo Clinic, it sounds like that. I like this sentence here. This is what I think led, like, yes, it sounds like he's going to be playing through this injury. Like, that is basically what I'm getting to. As plantar fasciitis commonly causes stabbing pain that often occurs with your first steps in the morning. As you get up and move, the pain normally decreases, but it might return after long periods of standing or when you stand up after sitting. So it sounds like it might be manageable under, the Toradol and walking around on the sideline. And we've seen Justin Herbert play through broken ribs. So it to me is just, it seems like it's just going to linger, and they're just going to be cautious throughout training camp, which is, it sucks.
I mean, those of us who played fantasy and had Julio in the glory years, we know when you hear foot injury, it's like, you listen to it. And I just found the information about what happened with Antonio Gates. The same injury happened to Antonio Gates in 2010. He tried to play through it, and he tore the plantar fascia, and it ended his season. And he only played 10 games, which was the lowest of his career. So all that to say, what you're saying, what I'm saying, listen, we don't know the details, but from what we do know, the Chargers are likely going to be exercising plenty of caution.
Yeah.
It is a buy low. It's a buy low.
It's a buy low for Dynasty, but the more I'm thinking about it, because one of the things that I like about Justin Herbert is his sneaky rushing upside, like that. Like, he has it. He has a little bit of wheels. We saw it his rookie season for sure. And I really thought that there would probably be some design runs mixed in here and there, and they would utilize his scrambling ability when they could. With this, they're really going to try to limit him to be a pocket passer and hand it off, which was kind of already what was expected. The good news is that it's gonna in the short term hinder the connection with Ladd McConkey and kind of the rest of the new weapons. But it might also, once he's back, kind of lead to more targets and everything for those players, and just kind of a hyperinflation, if you will, of just getting the ball into those players' hands instead of what he was comfortable with. I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth on this Justin Herbert thing.
No, it's massive news. You know what I'm getting vibes of, and this is not great, but remember Joe Burrow last season?
Yeah.
We had the calf thing, and they're like, he'll play through it. We'll be okay. And he was rusty. And I would say they're about the same range in terms of talent. And this is, as they say, this is not good.
Yeah. No, it really doesn't make me happy. I mean, you don't ever want to hear in a boot for 2 weeks, especially when we're about a month removed from football. I mean, this is a pre-recorded episode, but Hall of Fame game was just last night. Like, football's happening.
Yeah.
And so you never really want to hear this.
Exactly.
And so I think you have to fade him in redraft. I think you do, but I'm still
redraft. You stay away from him in redraft. Do not touch him. And to the best ball brethren, I'm sorry.
I have a lot
sorry.
I like it. I've been drafting him.
Yeah. I mean, and the whole thing about him being in a run heavy offense, like, whatever, it's still probably about 50-50. Like, I mean, run heavy offense now isn't what run heavy was in the early 2000s and 90s. Exactly. So the game is evolving. So
yeah, I just thought, that just meant a more efficient offense and more touchdowns.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, anyway, I mean, if he's out there, he's still going to be out there, but it sounds like he's not going to have any of that rushing upside definitely at all. And there's still, I would say even now, for sure, more of a reason for the Chargers to pin him into the pocket and really just make him a play action, really lean into that run game, like even more so. It sounds disgusting. It really sounds disgusting. I guess pick up Max Duggan and Easton Stick just in case.
What about Ryan Tannehill?
Oh, they could. They could. That's a very interesting name to keep our eye on.
I mean, wow. Everything's gross right now because everybody's on a team. Everything's gross. I'm just, throwing stuff at a wall and hoping it sticks.
I mean, if it lingers, I mean, I think that would be telling. Like, if they actually bring in a quarterback now, that would be very telling. If they wait till the in season, I think that could be a trigger they pull on just someone hanging around. If they bring someone in now, I would definitely get terrified. I would get even more terrified than I feel right now.
It's Jover.
Yeah, I mean, who's out there? No one really.
It's Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is the only one I could think of.
Ryan Hoyer, Blaine Gabbert, AJ McCarron. Wow. Matt Barkley, Trevor Siemian, Logan Woodside, and Ben DiNucci.
Wow.
I haven't heard any of those names.
I've heard a bit. He was in Dallas for a little while.
No. I mean, I know all those names. I'm saying it's been forever. Like AJ McCarron was a Madden project quarterback for me when I was in like high school.
Oh my gosh, this is. You know what? Hey, you know what? Early pick. Jim Harbaugh knows the college players. Chargers reloading. You know what? It's too early. I'm just gonna sit back and watch this, but. Not great.
Yeah, we're not putting Justin Herbert trade speculation out there. He's a Charger. We're not doing it. We're moving on. We're not talking about Justin Herbert anymore.
No more.
I will say, Max Duggan kicked Jim Harbaugh's ass at TCU. He totally.
And then we got the shower narrative of Quentin Johnson. We're so back. We are back.
We got to back off. That's the Justin Herbert stuff. We're terrified for redraft, but if you've ever wanted him in Dynasty, now's the time. You literally, maybe if you really want to get risky, you could wait. If he misses week 1, then I think the panic alarms go even more, but I think now's the time. I don't think it's worth risking it. Just get that guy on your team if you want him for Dynasty. But, my preseason best ball teams with Justin Herbert are not looking great right now.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, but I do want to go ahead and move on. And why don't we just, instead of some serious injuries, why don't we have a little silly one? Maybe not silly, not a good way to talk this, but Ryan Flournoy had a little bit of a minor knee injury. You said you wanted to talk some Cowboys. So why don't you talk a little bit about what Ryan Flournoy you see from him, what you could maybe expect from him and his injury?
Yeah, sure. So real quick with Ryan Flournoy. So his injury was not major. He has gotten some playing time. He is, and side note, I am a Cowboys fan because I hate myself, and I live like 15 minutes from the team facility. In fact, I told Jason this one day. This has been probably like 5 years ago, or whenever Zeke was originally on the team.
Yeah,
my wife was like, "Oh, I'm late for work. There's some bad wreck." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, be careful." And then she was like, and I opened the news, and Zeke was speeding and got in a wreck, and it was what held her over and made her late. And I was like, oh, did you check on him? And she was like, she's so lucky to have me. Anyway, so back to that. But yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. I follow all the beat writers around here. I follow the team. And here's the thing, Flournoy is a great taxi stash. I would not expect much this year. And I don't think, if we're being honest, I don't think you did either, but he's got a great profile. He's in a great spot. I do think Dak will maybe be with the team. Maybe. Okay. I think the passing game will still, the passing game will be a part of something to have. Brandon Cooks, I believe he's in the last year of his contract, so there's going to be an opening there. Up here, looking at the depth chart.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Jalen's ahead of him. It's just a bunch of Jalen.
Tolbert, yeah. So Jalen Tolbert has actually had the best camp of all the receivers not named CD. And the Cowboys are an organization, which this is most NFL teams, where they will do whatever it takes to make them look smart. And so they're going to give Jalen Tolbert every chance to succeed. And while last year wasn't great for Jalen, beat reporters have been gushing on him during the offseason, during the training camp. So because it looks like Jalen Tolbert's going to make the next step, I think Flournoy is going to be one to watch for 2025. I think Jalen Tolbert walked so that Flournoy could fly in 2025. That's my hypothesis of the receivers right now.
You come on my show and you tell me Ryan Flournoy won't break out in year one. I can't believe it. I did have high expectations. I still do, to be completely honest. I still think it's easily a room that he can win out in. This knee injury, of course, hinders that, but his profile is just it's just the archetype. Like, it's exactly what they need in this room, and I just think that that's going to win out at some point. Coaches have always raved over him and his work ethic. I can't fade this guy. I can't, even with this injury. Like, it hinders it. It's going to make it, take, instead of the week 1 breakout, it'll be a week 4 or 5 breakout, but that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like, it'll be okay. But I do agree for the most part. I mean, he's on my taxi squads in most leagues. Like, I don't really have to, because he's a rookie. I am putting him there, but I do expect, I think that we will be activating him at some point. I really do.
It could be a late season. He could see some late season action because I don't think the Cowboys will have a bye. I'm not delirious, but if they're playing for nothing, they're going to want to see what their rookies have, what backups have late in the year, and I could see a situation like that happening.
Yeah, and don't wish it. I love Brandon Cooks, but an injury to him at his ripe old age. Jalen Tolbert, again, maybe standing out of camp, but he has always struggled kind of on the field. So I'm going to keep hyping up Ryan Flournoy.
Hey, you do you, man. Yeah, he's good. He's good. I think he could be breakout. I really do.
So we do have some breaking news for our recording session, and that's probably why I was a bit distracted here. But terrible news. This is a bad Jason show because DeAndre Hopkins has been one of my favorite draft picks as well. And apparently he's out 4 to 6 weeks with a knee injury that he has sustained at camp. There's, of course, not a ton of specifics out here yet. But, it says 4 to 6 weeks as of now. So he'll at least miss week 1. He's going to miss week 1, probably week 2. He will be back. Like, I don't think it doesn't seem like it's 4 to 6 NFL weeks.
Yeah. That's a very important note. Can you just tell me who else you drafted this summer?
No, those are it. That's it.
That's it. Those two guys. I mentioned this. So I did some work for, I want to say it was for the draft. Yeah, it was the draft kit and world famous draft kit. And I was very concerned. I like Hawkins. I love Tennessee. Like, I don't think I have a take. I don't have anything prepared to say about this, but like, I really dig what's going on in Tennessee from just a team building side. They played football like it was in the 70s where they just ran the palm blade defense, which is fine. It's cool. It's great. It worked. You had Derrick Henry. Cool. But they're kind of evolving finally. And I think we're going to see a pass first offense, a pass often offense. And I was high on any of the Titans pass catcher, and now it's Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is going to get force-fed targets, at least early in the year.
Yeah.
Hopkins, he had an ACL, and I can't see – I know this happened just now. Like, I don't know which knee it was on. If he had the one where he had an ACL issue a few years back, this could be it. It's just something that we'll have to monitor as it goes. But, yeah, early in the weeks, week 1, week 2, I wouldn't count on him. He might be an intriguing – while we were saying to stay away from Justin Herbert, Hopkins, I could advocate drafting for and redraft if it goes late enough because it's 1 to 2 weeks. It's a knee issue. And a knee issue, it kind of flares up and then can go away with proper medication, proper treatment. So I'm not completely out on Hopkins. I mean, I'm definitely not great, but
I mean, I think what at least would go in his favor from recovering from this, that's just a strained knee from what
okay.
the report says now. So not even a sprained knee or
Okay.
anything. We'll see what, I mean, hopefully more comes out. Hopefully this 4 to 6 week timetable is more of being cautionary. But either way, it's not like DeAndre Hopkins was ever the most agile receiver on the field. In fact, he was more often than not some of the most unagile receiver on the field. You know, he's more of just a clasher. He can go up there and make those awesome contested catches. Never been much of a separator anyway. And he can just do some serious damage in the red zone. So I ultimately he would probably be fine and still be able to do what he's best at. He's going to lose some volume at least early in the season as he gets acclimated. Which is really good news for Calvin Ridley drafters. Unfortunately, I was planting my flag on DeAndre Hopkins, I will say. Tyler Boyd becomes another just more interesting flyer. He's already staying within the system. We know they're going to chuck the ball a ton, and we know that Treylon Burks just isn't happening. I
wanted him to happen so bad, and I've given up on it, but I wanted it to happen so bad.
I think we just have to, even with some of the positive things. I think if anything, it's like when Calvin Ridley's gone, when DeAndre Hopkins is gone, which is just awful to think about. That's just so late into this man's career. It's over for Treylon Burks. Even with this, I don't think that this should. Honestly, if you have Treylon Burks, this might be an opportunity to try to get some value out of him.
If you could get a third, like a 2026 third.
Ooh, yeah, if you get a third, that feels great. And I'm sorry to all of you Treylon Burks truthers out there, but it's time. And sorry, Jonathan.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Okay. So DeAndre Hopkins, that's painful. I mean, I don't think it really hurts Will Levis. They're still going to chuck it. I think, if anything, I think it just helps all the other pass catchers, really, is the big takeaway here. And I think personally, DeAndre Hopkins will be fine when he returns. So honestly, like you said with Herbert, or like the opposite of what we said with Herbert, you could probably still get him in redraft because he's going to drop a couple rounds now.
I would say this makes me kind of, in a weird way, like with Herbert, the nature of the injury is terrifying. Not a great track record. However, this strained knee, like we can work past that. You can rehab past that. Hopkins is a dude. He has done this for a long time.
He is. And
you can get a receiver late in the draft all the time. Why not get a veteran that's proven? If he falls low enough, I would scoop him towards the end of my redraft because I'm a dynasty degen, but I love redraft. Redraft's what got me started. So I love getting in a couple of redraft leagues. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, you got to at least have a few. For me, it's really just the Scott Fishbowl and whatever other random ones come my way. But it's always still nice to try to put on that 1 year lens.
Yeah.
Speaking of, a player that is now becoming even increasingly harder to draft in redraft seasons leagues is Roman Wilson out of Pittsburgh. And he's now picked up an ankle injury at camp or I guess just a foot injury. Or no, it was an ankle injury. And it's just going to, again, kind of hinder his performance to get on the field. What are you seeing from this injury?
Yeah, so, and it's so hard with this because right now we don't have official injury reports.
Yeah.
But Roman Wilson, so I was looking into this, and today, which is it's Thursday, he said, or Mike Tomlin came out and said he's in a boot for 2 weeks, and it's week to week. And all I can think about is like Tomlin, he is old school. And I feel like Roman Wilson, it's going to be a very slow ramp up.
Yeah.
And I feel like we may not see significant playing time for him until like week 8, week 10, maybe even. I just feel like I don't know if it's a high ankle sprain, which the saying, Podfather saying goes, if you're week to week, you're month to month.
Right.
And it just doesn't have good vibes. So he's missing valuable snaps. He's missing valuable time in training camp. And I like George Pickens. I like Pat Freiermuth. But this Arthur Smith offense, while it will produce some fantasy starters, it's not a high volume passing offense. The second targeted wide receiver will not be a reliable player you can use. So for that reason, it's like if you're playing Dynasty and you're like looking ahead, if you want to throw some backup assets to get Roman Wilson, if you really believe in Roman Wilson, then go for it. But there's no reason to take him, honestly, I think in redraft or excuse me, there's no reason to take him in redraft for this year.
Yeah, no, I unfortunately I haven't drafted Roman Wilson.
Oh no. This has not been good. Not been a good day.
All day. It's been so bad. But I'm not anymore. I am not anymore for redraft. That's done. I have my exposure. That is what it is. I do believe in him as a prospect through and through. It's a really, really great profile. He was the standout wide receiver at the Senior Bowl by far, over Ricky Pearsall, over Xavier Legette, over Zod McConkey, like over a lot of guys that were very, very good. But he was just on another level. And we've seen the clutch factor at Michigan from him.
Yeah.
He performed really well at the combine. So, I mean, I think for Dynasty, of course, I'm still in on this player. But I agree. Mike Tomlin, he's very old school. You're missing the most important time as a rookie. You've got to be in there at training camp. You've got to be learning all this. Luckily, he's coming from Michigan, so like he'll probably be able to acclimate quicker.
Exactly.
But still,
I get you're kind of getting Nico Collins vibes from him. I know that sounds crazy, but remember before CJ Stroud, Nico Collins was a throwaway in Dynasty football. Like he was a throwaway. No one, whatever, you're a truther here, have him. Yeah. And he could meet that career arc where he and again, him blowing up might not be top 15 wide receiver. Him blowing up may be low end wide or 2, higher end number 3, stay through his career. So he could do something like that. I could see that happening.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I just don't think he's going to be able to really get acclimated quick enough. And I like Justin Fields, but he's really only going to be able to get like one wide receiver. Pretty viable. And without Roman Wilson there, you already know Arthur Smith has just begun salivating at all the creative ways he can use Pat Fryermuth. It's honestly disgusting trying to imagine whatever Arthur Smith is thinking about right now. I try not to get into that man's head.
That's a dangerous place. Yeah.
Dangerous place. So I'm going to leave that place. And I'm just going to be buying Roman Wilson in Dynasty. And in fact, I might wait. Actually, I might wait till he misses some time because I think he probably will miss some time. Let him underperform a little bit, and then you can swoop in and buy him. Don't worry about it right now. Leave him in the ether.
That's the perfect time. I've got, whenever we get on Nick Chubb, I have the perfect buying window for him.
Let's go ahead and talk Nick Chubb because that's a fun one. That's a really fun one. This is a guy that for some reason is priced ahead of Jerome Ford, despite, probably missing at least a few games. But he's Nick Chubb. So I'm curious your thoughts.
Man, he's a pardon the French, but he's a damn dude. Like he is Nick Chubb. Like he's awesome. He's breaking tackles. He runs old school.
Yep.
Like everything about him, you love the guy. I remember the injury I was watching the game, which the injury was gruesome. And like even it was in Pittsburgh, and the Steeler fans were just like cheering for him when he went off the field. And it's like, this is a brutal, rivalry. They hate each other, but they respect him. Mm-hmm. Everything coming out about the Browns and Nick Chubb has been all rosy posy, everything great. This, I've got kids and they watch the Lego movie. This is awesome. Yeah, this is awesome. And I'm like, listen, this is not awesome. He's on the PUP list, and I believe firmly he's going to be out. When you're on the PUP, you're out the first 4 weeks if you're on the PUP as of week 1. Right. And I feel like what's going to happen is we're going to see him return around my guess is week 8 against Baltimore.
Okay.
Division opponent. That's what I guess. But you've seen the video. He posted a video where he was squatting like 600 pounds, like the box. It looked like a cartoon.
It was ridiculous.
And I'm just like, what is happening? And like the other day, he was running agility drills. So If I'm wrong, I'll gladly be wrong. But the nature of the injury that he had, which, like, if you do decide to go look it up, if you've forgotten about it, if your mind has healed and you have not remembered that moment, it is a gruesome knee injury. Yeah. But he will easy be out the first 4 weeks. Easy. And I do think he'll turn around week 8, it would be Baltimore. And so, it might add to the factor, a little excitement. Their first game, I did have to look this up. If we did like the hype revenge game, their first game against the Steelers is week 12. And I don't think he'll be out that long. I think he'll be back before then.
No way. I'm honestly on the Nick Chubb is a different animal. He'll be back faster than he should be. And I think I am with you, and he probably is on the pup and missing the first 4, but I think he'll be back week 5, like worst case, to be honest. Like that.
Absolutely.
That's the way I want to look at this thing. Just because I mean, he's just a whole nother animal, just a beast of a man, and an injury that it looked a lot scarier than it ended up being reported. A lot of reports ended up saying that it was a pretty clean tear. It was a lot more gruesome than it actually looked, or
You're exactly right.
It actually was. So I'm going to have to trust the modern science here. He got it week 2, so that's plenty of time to recover and be out there. Now, I don't think he's going to ever be Nick Chubb, at least in terms of the workload he got. I do think he's going to come into a timeshare with Jerome Ford, whether it's 50-50 or 60-40 in a different player's direction, right? It may be 60-40 when he returns, or 70-30 even, and he works it down to 50-50. But I think that Jerome Ford is still going to be someone getting some valuable snaps for this Browns offense, regardless of when Nick Chubb is back. And I don't think it really matters for either. I think we've seen this Browns offense. They run the ball a ton, and that's pretty much how the offense runs. So I want them both, but I do think we need to be buying Nick Chubb later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you wanted to be, so I bought I got into an orphan dynasty, and it's ugly, but it had Nick Chubb, and I'm like, I kind of want to build out these receivers because Nick Chubb, like, the running backs are great, the receivers are not great. So I'm like, actually DeAndre Hopkins is the best receiver on that team. So yeah, that's great. And awesome. And it's like, man, I kind of don't want Nick Chubb. And it was like I was ready to trade him during the draft. And it's like, well, why don't I just wait till the hype? Because when Nick Chubb starts to come back and the excitement comes, and it's week 5, and the Browns are 3-2 or 2-3, whatever, they're fighting for, trying to keep the division lead. I think that's the time to sell, because it's going to be hyped. It's going to be exciting. That's when you want to move him. Or if you want to acquire him, now would be the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think the buying window won't close much sooner, unless like he gets like announced like, oh yeah, we're not I'm going to be ready for week 1. Then it slams shut. But I really don't think we're living in that world. I do think they'll take their time. Jerome Ford did enough last year to where they don't have to rush him back. It should be solid, I think. So why don't we talk about someone kind of on the inverse that got in, that also had a very scary knee injury, but at the end of the season last year, TJ Hawkinson, a guy I've been drafting a lot of this offseason, because I think like Nick Chubb, he's just a different animal. And I mean, I think that even if he misses some time, the tight end position and the scarcity of finding elite production there kind of outweighs the opportunity cost of getting him on your team. Even if he misses a few weeks, I think when he returns, he's going to be good. And now we actually get reports out there that TJ Hawkinson is looking really, really good per beat reports. And he is actually doing some training out on the side at camp, just not in pads, but he's out there working. And they really they are expecting him to return, and really push that timeline from his injury. So I'm getting pretty excited about TJ Hawkinson. What about you?
Yeah, I am much more bullish, much more excited, hopeful for TJ Hawkinson. Kevin O'Connell has come out and said, we're happy with where he's at. I don't see him being ready by week 1. But one thing that's nice, so the Browns, their bye is in week 10. And so it's like it's hard to navigate the Chubb return with that bye. The Vikings have a bye in week 5. And it's like, man, I could see him being on PUP and then being on like an IR return list. I can't remember. I want to say it was Coach Speak Index mentioned this. He said, you could be on PUP for 4 weeks and then activate him after that 4th week where he's on the IR to return for 2 weeks. And week 7, the Vikings play Detroit Lions.
Oh,
like sometimes it just writes itself. The good stuff is just right there. You just got to take it. So, yeah, I feel good about it. And I mentioned this earlier, and this is just for the super degenerates, but Robert Tonyan, he had back spasms, and he was carted off the practice field. So we're looking at Johnny Munt action for the Vikings. So, yeah, but Hawkinson, it's great. It's wide open. He's looking good.
Yeah.
Week 7, week 6, I feel like was the hot spot.
Yeah, and that's also about the same time that J.J. McCarthy is going to take over the starting job right after that bye week. So it really is just all lining perfectly. That's a very cheap back window stack, backdoor stack, close.
You're close.
You could just pull it off. I mean, I'm still believing in Justin Jefferson. I mean, I think that this is just an offense in general that's going to be fine, even without Kirk Cousins there, at least from an efficiency standpoint. I think getting TJ Hawkinson and JJ McCarthy late and Sam Darnold late really is a really fun roster build right now because I think that could really help you go on a late season tear once TJ Hawkinson gets acclimated in full speed. Again, the tight end position, finding that mega production, it's so difficult. And TJ Hawkins was going to be the tight end 1 last year, almost 1,000 yards in 14 games. It was unbelievable.
Awesome. He was on an awesome run. Like,
yes.
Yeah, he could be that late second half of the season tight end that just crushes it.
Yep. I'm very excited for him.
And another thing. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I'll just say real quick, like Jordan Addison, right now the team is very sour on him. Like, I mean, you had the situation where the defensive back passed away in a drunk driving accident, and then you get pulled over with a suspicion of DUI. It's like, that's not great, man.
Right. It's really rough. Hopefully he figures it out. But yeah, I mean, I still think he's third in that pecking order. Like it's going to be Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, then Addison. So it should be good for him. I've got a few more injuries that we'll just go rapid fire.
Okay.
And we'll bundle these two together. Are you worried about Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers' Achilles? And quickly with that, what do you think that'll lead to in terms of their pass catchers?
Okay. I'm slightly more worried about Aaron Rodgers than Kirk Cousins. Just the reason is Aaron Rodgers uses more mobility. I like how I moved when I said mobility. He uses more mobility, and I think he might realize, like when the bullets are flying, when defensive tackles are coming down, and his step isn't quite what it was. It could lead. I don't know. It just doesn't seem great. I did some digging though, and I wanted to shout this out because I don't think I've heard this anywhere else. I was looking up quarterbacks that had Achilles injuries. Did you know that Dan Marino had an Achilles injury when he was 34? He came back. He had ruptured Achilles. Then the next season, he threw for over 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns.
There you go.
If you're buying in these guys, that's the hope you're clinging to. Granted, I don't know if they're quite Dan Marino good, but that's what you're clinging to, you know. What was I say? Oh yeah, I do like Michael Penix long term.
Yeah,
but I think Cousins. I think if he's I think he's got 2 years. And then I think it'll be Penix time. But yeah,
I mean that's how the contract is laid out. But I'm feeling 1 year. I'm feeling just the 1 year because it's just that's such a high draft pick that I really think that at some point Penix is just going to have to push the envelope and get in there.
Yeah. I mean, I keep going back to Jordan Love but Jordan Love was drafted with like a 25th, 26th, 27th pick.
Michael Penix is coming out kind of old.
Yeah, that's true. So it's close, but yeah, for now, I'm a little more hopeful for Cousins than I am for Rodgers. But both I think will be fine. Everything's been fine. This is fine. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, that's fair. I did like the Aaron Rodgers take. I have been kind of thinking that as well, and that's why I actually think Breece Hall is going to get way too many dump offs. Like, it's going to be honestly ridiculous. And I don't think it's being talked about enough. Yeah. I really think that safety net is going to be huge for Aaron Rodgers and just his recovery from that injury. Just to know someone like Breece Hall is almost always right next to you, I really think, it's going to be nice. I really do.
Yeah, and like the number 2 options in the Jets aren't as inspiring as the number 2s in Atlanta. You know, if it's Drake London or Kyle Pitts, and then you got Bijan, and then you got Mooney, like the options there are a little more hopeful than, you know, Mike Williams. My mind just went blank. The Lazard. Yeah. You got Lazard. See, my mind went blank. Like, come on, guys.
It happens all the time. It happens all the time. The amount of times I have to ask the chat to remind me of a player name, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just you've got more hope for Kirk Cousins' weapons, at least depth-wise. Garrett Wilson and Breece, yeah, they're going to smash. They're going to smash.
I like hearing that. And then are you fading Kyren Williams and his injury concerns, or are you fine?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Now I could see what I feel like will happen is he'll be cruising along the season, doing just fine. He might get a slightly, 10% less than what he got last year. They might try to bring Corum on for more. I feel like what will happen is he'll have a sprained toe and he'll miss 2 weeks, and Corum will smash, and then Kyren will come right back and it'll be all Kyren. That's just my feeling. I'm fine with Kyren.
Yeah, I don't want him. Like, I'm not really drafting him at his cost, but I do think that we shouldn't necessarily be like kind of fading him too much. Like, I still think that the Rams staff believes in him. Very, very good last year. I think even as a Michigan fan, I think that our best case scenario for Corum is a 50-50 timeshare, to be honest. They complement each other well. And I think that's what the whole point of drafting Corum was, to have 2 Kyren Williams. It wasn't to beat out Kyren Williams. It was to have 2.
Exactly. He's a high-end handcuff. He's a high-end handcuff.
Very high-end handcuff. Very high-end. Handcuff plus. I mean, I think he'll see the field for sure, and he'll be productive. It's a very good offense. You want pieces of that. But Kyren Williams is still I don't think he's going anywhere. So Agreed. That's enough injury talk. There's the DeAndre Hopkins threw me for a loop. So thanks for being on the spot for that one. Kind of unfortunate and perhaps lucky in a way, bad lucky, if you will, that we planned this injury episode about a week ago. And 2 major injuries, DeAndre Hopkins and Justin Herbert, happened while recording, before recording. Insane. Really insane luck right there. It sucks that they're both players I love a lot. But that's fine. Speaking of players you love a lot, who's a player you're buying from training camp? Let's get some camp hype stuff before we get you out of here.
Yeah. 2. And one is like with conviction, and one is just like without conviction. And they're both rookies. Number 1 is Malik Neighbors. I just find it hilarious that like we hear, oh, Malik, Neighbors, he's that dude. And then he takes a day off because he's been carrying the offense in practice. And they're like, hey, this Giants team is kind of bad. Like, I think Malik Neighbors, though, he reminds me of, and I have to be careful because I don't want to just nail him to this, but he reminds me of the Antonio Brown profile. I'll say the profile of Antonio Brown. Mm-hmm. Shifty, quick, and he's got a head coach that will scheme him, that will put him in places to succeed. Mm-hmm. And he's going to put him in spots where Daniel Jones can complete the pass. We will see missed throws, but when the Giants are down 20 points in the fourth quarter, the garbage time for Malik Neighbors will feed families this season. I'm here to tell you. Malik Neighbors is he's going to be that dude, I think.
I don't mind the garbage time take. I've been saying to the Wake and Take audience to get some Drew Lock on your roster. I really don't think Daniel Jones is lasting long. I
endorse that. I endorse that completely. I have him on a couple of dynasty rosters. Yes, get him now. He will play.
100%. Sorry,
did you want to add in something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I have had a very hard time buying Malik Neighbors in Dynasty. I don't like it. I would take Puka Nacua or Garrett Wilson. I don't like those wide receivers over him, I guess. But then I also do like AJ Brown more than Malik Neighbors. So he's, I guess, like valued enough. And I do think once they figure out the quarterback, like he's gonna be good. I'm not sure. His athletic profile is so good. It has been so difficult for me. I'm taking him in redraft. Wide receiver 20, fine, whatever. I'll bet on that athleticism. In Dynasty, I'm like going back and forth, but they're really, I mean, it's like you might not really ever have a buying opportunity for this player. So I'm going back and forth on it, but he's looking really damn good.
He is looking good. I mean, if the buying opportunity, if it just isn't happening or they're asking for too much, maybe Daniel Jones just stinks it up and he's only posting, like 5 for 56 or, 4 for 39. Maybe
I can already hear the reply to that. Well, Daniel Jones isn't going to be the quarterback much longer. In fact, this is better for Malik Neighbors dynasty value. Okay. You know how we get.
That's fair.
I think if you want him, I think you've just got to go get him. I don't think you can risk it with this type of athletic profile. Best comparable Jamar Chase. I've been saying buy Marvin Harrison Jr. I've been saying buy Roma Dunze. I might as well just complete the whole trifecta and buy Malik Neighbors as well. It's taken me a while to get here, but I think I'm officially it's just gonna have to happen, unfortunately. Now, I am going to go ahead and say, I know your next buy. I am going to push back on this one. This one I'm not buying into as much, but go ahead. What are you seeing?
This is just a historical analysis. Consider me just like I'm just here presenting some numbers, okay? Mm-hmm. So I did some digging, and it was 2018 was Mahomes' sophomore season, the year that that offseason, he was named the starter. Tyreek Hill was a first-round pick. Travis Kelce was a second-ish round pick. Mm. And Mahomes was like a 9th-round pick. DJ Moore is a 3rd-round pick. Keenan Allen is about a 5th. Odunze is a 7th. I love them all. I love them all equally. I couldn't maybe be DJ.
I know you feel it. I can sense it.
Maybe DJ, then Odunze, then Keenan, but it's very close. I love them. I love them. Yeah. Caleb Williams in the late 9th. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 5. I'm not ready to do that. But he's got in fact, like I love Jaden more than Caleb for fantasy football. I like Jaden Daniels more than Caleb.
I think it's about price that. I think for the most part, Jaden is going ahead of Caleb in redraft.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
I think that Caleb should be going maybe a round earlier, maybe. I think he's gonna be good. I do. I think he's gonna be good. I'm not, and I hate to be the guy that be like, remember everyone said he's like Mahomes? Well, he's really like Mahomes. I didn't mean to do that, and I did, and I accidentally stumbled upon it. And now to share it with the world. So you get another horrible Caleb Williams Mahomes take. Oh, he went away. But you know what? The show's going to go on. Oh, there he is.
Every episode. Oh, no, it's the mic's working. Every episode, my camera unplugs at some random point accidentally.
Oh, my gosh. Hold on, it's on mute, I think.
How about now?
Hey, you're good.
It's a different mic, but it looks like my one of my things unplugged. Oh well, happens to the best of us,
dude. If we did this an hour earlier, I lost power about an hour earlier, and it came back on before we started. So
wow, speedy. I'll say this. I am not touching Caleb Williams in Dynasty right now. I think it's an excellent sell opportunity. You can get a lot of quarterbacks that have actually proven themselves and get some extra stuff on top. You can get Jordan Love, Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert, Jared Goff, maybe not Jared Goff. Some of the rookie quarterbacks, you can get, Drake May, if you feel like that, JJ McCarthy or something. Yeah. And it's just like, I think there's so many opportunities to get a ton of value for Caleb Williams right now where I am selling him. But quarterback 13 and redraft, it's not bad. I've definitely been taking him if I draft a Rome Odunze like as my quarterback 2. I haven't done anything with Caleb Williams as my quarterback 1. But, I mean, he has that ability. Like, if he goes out there, I mean, they're going to pass it a lot. Like, they are. They're going to lean into him. They brought in DeAndre Swift for a reason. They brought in all those wide receivers for a reason. It's just, so he's going to, he's going to produce fantasy points. In Dynasty, we got to see it first for me. And there's a reason a Bears quarterback hasn't had 4,000 yards. It's weather. It's the NFC North. It's a whole number of factors than just not having a good quarterback. They've had good quarterbacks. So, we'll see. We'll see. But I do want him at some point. I just think there will be a better buying opportunity for this player, at least in my opinion. But he's looking good in camp, which is all you can ask for. That's offensive line isn't, though. The offensive line is not looking good.
There is some real concern with that offensive line. Thankfully, those receivers can get open because he will be chucking it quick. Now, the line at USC I don't think was great.
No. But it was like Pac-12 defenses, too.
That's even worse.
I don't know. We'll see. He did struggle against some tough opponents, the Notre Dame game in particular, but that's, kind of cherry picking at the end of the day too. He's a good athlete. He was taken number 1 for a reason. And they surrounded him with all this talent. I mean, you can't ignore it at all. So I like it. I do like it. Give me some players you're selling right now based on their game.
Okay. I know this isn't super hot takey, but I feel like this needs to be addressed. And I hope I say his name right. Andre Iosivas, the slot receiver for the Bengals.
Close enough. Yoshivich, I believe.
Yoshivich. Okay. Yeah, we'll call him Yo. I heard Yoshivich. Okay. So I know it's not a hot take. I know it's not a big name, but I think we're missing a massive piece of the puzzle with him running the slot. Mm-hmm. Jamar Chase has been sitting out camp working on his new contract, waiting on a new contract. Yeah. When Jamar Chase comes back, who's going to get squeezed out?
I mean, Jermaine Burton.
You think so?
I think so. I really think so.
Well, would you be interested in learning that Chase's slot rate over the last 3 years has gone from 11 to 16 to 25? And Tyler Boyd is no longer there. There's a big opening in the slot. I'm not saying he's going to be exclusively a slot guy, but if Chase goes to, let's say, 35 to 40%, I think that we're going to see kind of a rotation with Burton, Yoshivas, and my mind went blank.
Jasicki?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Could be. Have Eric Hall, because Eric Hall's everyone loves Eric Hall. I'm not going to come at the Eric Hall hive. I'm not ready for that.
It's a blocking tight end. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
He was not that great at Michigan as a receiver.
Yeah, I have no Eric Hall take. But anyway, I just think my point is with Yoshivas, I feel like when Jamar Chase comes back, I don't think we're going to see him as much. And like if you've got a receiver like that, a receiver that's getting all this camp praise, that was a late round pick from an Ivy League school. No offense, you guys are smart, way smarter than I'll ever be. You should move him if you can get anything for him.
I don't know. I like Yoshivitz. I do. It's just that athletic profile is so good. I mean, and I'm falling for the Princeton thing for some reason. I don't know.
I get it. Hey, they're smart.
He's smart. Yeah. He's smart and athletic, and I think that takes you places in the NFL. But it is more of a dynasty play. Like I do kind of agree. There's not a lot of volume going around in this offense. I think Jamar Chase is probably going to see his highest target total he's seen his entire career. I mean, that offense is going to run through him, and I'm very, very much excited for his season.
Very excited.
It's going to be nice. I see one more on here. I'm curious.
I have like so many. Okay.
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix. Okay. Well, it's funny. So I'm not. This isn't. I'll put my heart in the Yoshi take. I'm not putting my heart in this take. Bo Nix has apparently had some good practices. Mm-hmm. Like what? And it's like I'm listening, I'm monitoring, but I'm not buying that. And the reason why I'm not buying into Bo Nix, just all of a sudden he's really great. Let's not forget, Bo Nix has been in college for
forever.
2019. In the great Tommy Boy, a lot of people go to school for 7 years. Yeah, they're called doctors. And it's like, he's been there forever. He understands the practice regimen. He understands how to perform in that situation. And it's funny, as I'm talking about this, I saw that today wasn't a great day of practice for him. But I've heard a lot of hype, and I just feel like we need to just be like, be careful of the content that you listen to. Just because you hear that. Remember Jamar Chase, perfect example. Remember his rookie year? Jamar Chase, all these drops. Jamar Chase is a bust. No. Just because you hear it doesn't mean it's always completely true. And I think that this is a situation where he understands how to play under practice. I'm just not buying him as being a top 4 quarterback out of the draft class yet.
That's fair. I mean, I do think he's going to start the whole season.
Yeah.
And I think he'll get some garbage time points. But yeah, this Broncos offense is nothing to get excited about, really at all. So no, I mean, you are not buying Bo Nix right now for redraft. Unless you're desperate. You were desperate.
You're not doing it.
You're not doing it.
Seek help.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that I honestly am. I'm buying into the entire first round of the quarterbacks. I really am. I think all of them got the right landing spot for their skill set. I really like the landing spots for all of them. And the Oregon offense is similar to what Sean Payton wants to run. So I do think it'll work over time, but not this season. Not this season at all. Too many things are he's going to have to get acclimated to NFL speed. He took forever to break out in college. The wide receivers, he's going to have to work on his connection with. It's not a great offensive line. It's definitely going to take some time. So I am with you there. If you're able to kind of scrounge something together with him right now in your redraft league, why not? Why not? So I see some under the radar players to watch. Just list them.
Okay. 2. I'll be really fast. Number 1, Chase Brown.
Okay.
He has been operating as the 1, not Zach Moss. We've been wrong all along. You need to adjust. The ADP is probably catching up. Go get Chase Brown. Or if you had to get one, get Chase Brown. Number 2, and I'm just going to do it with these 2. Jordan Whittington. Keep your eye on Jordan Whittington, receiver for the Rams. He was a player at UT. He'd been there for a while. Just keep an eye on him. He's had some good practices. The team likes him. And the Rams operate with 3 receivers on the field. So whoever the number 4 is for them, which I think I remember last year, Demarcus Robinson had a little run where he was a wide receiver 2 for about 3 weeks at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on him. He might be a deep dynasty stash. I'm not saying he's not the next Puka Nacua. He is not the next Puka Nacua. He could be a wide receiver to play in a pinch. He could be a Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp handcuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're hearing that he's probably passing Tutu Atwell already on the depth chart. We're hearing that he's getting first-team reps. You have to take note. You have to take note. He doesn't need to be Puka Nacua to return value.
Exact. Well said. Yeah, well said.
So I like both of those. Very, very exciting stuff for Chase Brown, especially. I think that athleticism in that offense could be really, 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 really nice. Yeah. So, Jonathan, it's been a ride. It's been awesome. Yes. Now, hit us with your hot take for the season. What you got?
Yeah. So I don't know how spicy you want it. So I want kind of mild to medium. This is my first time. I don't want to just blow you guys away.
Spice it up. Get crazy.
Spice it up. Okay. Let me give you my mild and then my spicy hot. Can I do that?
Sure.
I'll do mild and spicy hot. I'll be really quick. Mild, Terry McLaurin, top 12 wide receiver.
Reason being. That's pretty hot.
Is it?
That's pretty hot.
Medium? Okay. Just real quick. These are the quarterbacks that he's played with. Case Keenum, Dwayne Haskins, Colt McCoy, late stage Alex Smith. Not early, late stage. Kyle Allen, Taylor Heineke, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Garrett Gilbert, Carson Wentz, Sam Howell. Half those guys aren't even in the league. Terry McLaurin. Oh, I need to know. My super hot nuclear, I'll be censored and the police are knocking at the door as I read this to you. The beat reporters at Dallas, they have been gushing. The coaches, the ownership has been gushing for a new running back that has joined the team. Not Zeke Elliott, Royce Freeman. Royce Freeman will be, let's just say he'll be an RB3.
Okay. I like both of those. I think Terry McLaurin high. I think the Terry McLaurin take was pretty high. I think.
Okay. I thought it was mild.
So. 31 to top 12, rookie quarterback. I think that's a pretty good take.
Jaden loves to throw it on the outside. He's not much of an over the middle guy. I just see it, and that's Terry loves being on the outside. I think they're going to be. I know I talked about Caleb Williams. Love what they're building in Washington. Just love it.
Yeah. That's why I like all the rookie quarterback situations right now, but Washington looks nice too. It really does. And for Terry McLaurin's point, that half he had with Jacoby Brissett, like 26 points and a half or something crazy like that, he went nuclear when he had an actual quarterback.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think that's solid. So Jonathan, again, thank you so much for joining me. Tell the people where they can find you, what you're working on.
So I'm always behind the scenes. I'm working with the data team, Dario, John Adams, Adidia. And then we're just grinding. If you ever bring up a player page like Jawar Jordan, and it's just late at night and you're wondering where you went wrong in life, and you're looking at Jawar Jordan, well, we're the guys that put Jawar Jordan on there. So, you'll see me in the back doing a lot. I do the injuries as they happen. I'll be updating the website with injuries. And I will be doing an air yard report during the season. So I'll be doing some written work and I kind of do a little bit of everything, a little bit of YouTube production. Mm-hmm. I'm all over the place. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Well, it's a pleasure having you, man. You're doing great work. Keep it up.
Thanks, man.
I mean, without your help, Player Profiler, isn't the Player Profiler we know and love. So we very much appreciate everything you're doing for the site and everything you're working on. And this was very fun having you on. Very fun takes. Very good insight. Everyone, to the audience, thank you for tuning in. You all have a fantastic Friday, a wonderful weekend. I will see you on Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern, back here on Wake and Take. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Have a good one. Peace.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to PlayerProfiler.com, Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, data analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.